The silent return. The galaxy was quiet. Too quiet. For years the space between stars carried no human voice, no human fleet, no human defiance. Whispers spread through alien markets and council chambers. Humans are gone, they said. Humans are only a memory. Yet not everyone believed this. Some remembered the wars, the resistance, the stubborn human spirit that never bent. They said, if humans are gone, why do we still fear shadows in the dark? On the edge of the Orion Rift, a lonely station picked up something strange. It was faint at first, a broken signal almost like static. The watch officer leaned closer, his claws tapping the console. He thought it was an error, but then the pattern grew stronger. A shape moved between stars, too large to be a freighter, too silent to be a normal warship. It drifted like a ghost. No beacon, no ID, only darkness. Swallowing light, the officer called his commander. When the commander saw the shape on the screen, his spines rose, his throat dry. He whispered a name that had not been spoken in decades. The Black Ship. News spread faster than light. Within hours, council members screamed at each other across the great chamber. The hollow screens above them showed grainy images of the shadow vessel. Some argued it was only a rumor, an old wreck carried by gravity. Others shouted that no wreck could move with such precision. The council speaker slammed the table, but no one listened. Fear had already taken the room. Outside their halls, entire fleets prepared. Predator races sharpened their claws. Prey species prayed to their gods. Merchants closed their trade routes. Everyone feared the same thing. If the Black Ship had returned, it meant humanity had not been destroyed. For years, aliens told themselves the humans were weak. They told stories of Earth burning, of colonies lost, of a species too fragile to survive. But in secret, they remembered battles where human ships fought long after they should have fallen. They remembered soldiers who laughed in the face of death. They remembered the Black Ship most of all. It had vanished after the last war. Some believed it destroyed, others believed it was waiting now. As it slid silently through the rift, its hull absorbing light, its weapons hidden, the truth felt closer. The ship was alive, and it was moving with purpose. On the mining colonies near Vega, workers stopped mid-shift to stare at the news feeds. They saw the black outline drifting across star fields. Some cheered in secret, whispering humans are back. Others trembled, because if the ship had returned, then war would follow. No one remained calm. The galaxy itself seemed to hold its breath. Inside the council, voices cracked with desperation. "Destroy it before it reaches Terran space," shouted one reptilian senator. "You cannot destroy what you do not understand," hissed another. "What if it carries survivors?" asked a third. "What if it is only a weapon? What if it is both?" While they argued, the Black Ship did not stop. It glided past patrol fleets, ignoring warnings, ignoring missiles. Every time an alien ship tried to block its path, the Black Ship shifted course by only a fraction. No shots fired, no threats spoken, yet the alien crews felt hunted. They abandoned their post rather than face its silent passage. Somewhere deep inside that vessel, hidden under layers of steel and shadow, lights flickered. A chamber hummed to life. Pods lined the walls, covered in frost. Inside them, human figures stirred, eyes slowly opening after decades of sleep. They did not know yet where they were. They only heard the low voice of the ship's core AI whispering the same command again and again. Protect Earth at all costs. The galaxy did not hear those words. The galaxy only saw the return of a nightmare, for in the silence of the Black Ship there was promise. Promise of vengeance. Promise of survival. Promise that humanity, forgotten and mocked, had never truly died. The officer on the lonely station who first saw it could not sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the shadow move through the stars. He knew the truth. The Black Ship had not returned by chance. It had returned with a purpose, and whatever that purpose was, it would change the galaxy forever. The Council in fear. The grand chamber of the Galactic Council shook with noise. Voices clashed like weapons, sharp and endless. Hollow screens above them showed the grainy images again, the black shadow moving past patrol fleets. Each alien leader tried to speak louder than the rest. Some shouted for war, some begged for peace, and some demanded silence. But no one could silence fear. At the center of the chamber stood the council. Speaker, an old being with silver skin and tired eyes, he pounded the table, his voice echoing, "Order. We must have order." But his words were like smoke, vanishing before they touched anyone. One senator with scales of gold raised his claws. "This cannot be ignored. If the black ship has returned, then humans have returned too. We must destroy it now, before it reaches Terran space." His words brought cheers from predator species who had once hunted humans. They remembered the blood, the war, the endless fights humans had forced them into. They remembered scars still burning on their worlds. Across the hall, a soft-voiced, amphibian leader spoke. "You speak of destruction, but you forget history. Every time we attacked humans, they fought back harder. If we strike now, we may wake an enemy stronger than before." The predators hissed at him, their teeth flashing, but the truth in his words spread like a shadow across the chamber. A third voice rose, a winged elder with feathers black as night. "What if the ship carries survivors? What if children are inside? What if this is not a weapon but a refuge?" The chamber fell quiet for a breath. The thought of human children hidden in that vessel, waiting for rescue, stirred unease. For even enemies of humans respected how fiercely they protected their young. The council speaker leaned forward. "We need facts. Send probes. Send envoys. Do not act blind." But already, fleets were moving without his command. Predator admirals did not wait for council votes. They gathered warships along the Orion Rift, a wall of fire meant to stop the black ship. On distant worlds, citizens watched. The news with wide eyes. Some laughed, saying it was only a ghost ship, an empty relic drifting with no soul. But others locked their doors, shut their markets, and whispered prayers. For deep inside, they knew no ghost could move with such purpose. Meanwhile, the black ship continued its silent path. Every scan sent back strange results. Its hull swallowed energy like water into sand. Its size shifted with every reading, as if space itself bent around it. Weapons arrays that should have glowed with power remained dark, but every captain who faced it swore they felt the same thing. The ship was watching them. Inside the black ship, more chambers awoke. The pods hissed open one by one. Men and women stepped out, weak, coughing, but alive. Their captain, a tall man with tired eyes, placed his hand on the console. He whispered, "How long?" The AI voice answered with cold patience, 72 years since last command." The captain closed his eyes, pain across his face. 72 years, worlds lost, allies gone, but the mission was still alive. "Where is Earth?" he asked. The AI answered, "Hidden, protected, coordinates sealed until danger confirmed." The captain nodded slowly. He turned to his crew, their faces pale but burning with questions. His voice was steady. "We have one order. Protect Earth at all costs. The galaxy thinks we are dead, but today they will learn the truth." Back in the council chamber, chaos deepened. Reports arrived of fleets breaking formation, of ships refusing to fight. Some captains claimed their weapons locked, systems failing whenever the black ship came close. Others claimed their crews mutinied. Refusing to fire on the vessel, the council screamed louder. Some called it human trickery, others called it divine punishment. The speaker finally stood tall, his voice cutting through the storm. "Listen to yourselves, you are afraid, yet you do not know what you fear." Humans were stubborn, yes, but they were not demons. If the black ship has returned, it means something greater is coming. We must decide now. Are we enemies or are we survivors together? But his words carried little weight. For even as he spoke, a predator admiral launched his fleet. Thousands of ships moved toward the rift, ready to block the black ship's path. Every news screen lit with the image of that armada, a wall of steel and fire. The galaxy waited, breathless. Would the black ship turn back? Would it fight? Or would it continue its silent, impossible journey? The answer came not with words, but with silence. The black ship drifted closer. Its shadow stretched across the stars, and every being who saw it felt the same cold truth in their bones. The return of the black ship was not a beginning, it was a warning. The awakening. Crew deep inside the black ship, silence broke with the hiss of opening pods. Frost melted into thin streams of water, dripping onto the floor. Human lungs gasped for air after decades of sleep. Eyes blinked in confusion, searching for light, searching for answers. The chamber was massive, filled with rows of cryopods, each one a coffin of glass and steel. One by one, lids slid open. Men and women staggered out, weak but alive. They touched the walls, the floor, anything, solid, to remind themselves they were not dreaming. At the center of it all stood the captain, his frame tall though his body was tired. He held on to the console with shaking hands, his eyes focused on the core display. Numbers scrolled fast, reports of systems awakening, engines pulsing, weapons silent. But the words at the top burned into his mind. Mission active, protect Earth at all costs. 72 years. He whispered. His voice cracked from dryness. 72 years since their last battle. 72 years since Earth had spoken to them. Around him, his crew murmured questions. Where are we? What happened to the war? Is Earth safe? The ship answered in a calm, cold voice. Earth coordinates sealed. Terran command absent. Danger confirmed. Mission priority continues. The crew looked at each other, fear and hope mixing. They had slept through time itself, but their duty had not ended. The captain turned to them, his face solemn. Listen, humanity has always been stubborn. We never bent, we never surrendered. This ship is proof of that. We may be the last or we may be the first to awaken, but our mission is clear. Earth still waits for us. The crew straightened, their weakness forgotten. Even after 72 years, the words protect Earth filled their hearts with strength. One officer, young even before sleep, now older only in spirit, clenched her fists. If the galaxy thinks we are dead, then let them see we are alive. While the crew regained their strength, the ship's AI revealed fragments of memory. Holograms flickered across the chamber. Images of old battles. Human fleets standing against impossible odds. Colonies burning. Children evacuated. Soldiers shouting defiance even as they fell. The crew watched in silence, their throats heavy. Some shed tears. Some clenched their teeth in rage. All of them remembered what it meant to be human. Outside, the Predator fleet gathered. Thousands of ships aligned into formation. Glowing engines. Like fireflies across the rift. Their admiral spoke with confidence. Destroy the relic before it reaches Terran space. Break the myth of human return. But none of them spoke of fear. Fear was hidden in their eyes, their claws tapping nervously on control panels. They remembered stories of this very ship, stories that haunted their kind for generations. Inside the black ship, preparations began. Weapons bays remained closed, engines stayed steady. The captain ordered scans. Show me what we face. Holograms filled the chamber with enemy fleets, walls of ships stretching across the stars. The crew stared at the impossible numbers. One man whispered, "We cannot fight that." The captain's gaze was hard. Humans do not run. We never did. This ship is not only steel, it is memory. It is vengeance, it is survival. The AI voice spoke again. Enemy fleet approaching, hostile intent confirmed. Recommend defensive protocol. The captain shook his head. No, not yet. Let them come closer. Let them believe we are asleep. Then we show them what humanity left behind. The crew moved into stations, their hands finding controls they had not touched in decades. Screens lit up, consoles hummed. The ship itself seemed to awaken with them, for every breath they took. The black ship pulsed stronger, as if it had waited all these years for their return. On the bridge, silence ruled. Every crew member looked at the captain, waiting. He stood tall, his voice steady. Remember this. We are not fighting for glory. We are not fighting for revenge. We fight because Earth still lives. And as long as Earth lives, humanity cannot be destroyed. The word spread through The ship like fire. The weak stood strong, the tired grew sharp. The black ship's heart beat again, and beyond its hull, the enemy armada drew closer, weapons ready, commanders proud. They thought the humans were relics of the past, but they were about to learn a truth burned into history. Humans may sleep, humans may fall, but humans always return. Old enemies stir in the darkness beyond the rift. The predator fleets gathered like storm clouds. Their ships stretched from one end of the sector to the other, endless rows of steel and fire. Admirals gave speeches to their crews. They said the black ship was only an old machine. They said humans were weak, gone forever, but their eyes betrayed them. Even the predators feared the shadow that moved without sound. The lead admiral, a scarred beast with eyes of burning yellow, raised his claws before the fleet. Strike first, strike fast, leave nothing behind. This relic must be shattered. If humans return, we end them before they rise. His words echoed across thousands of ships. But silence followed, for even his warriors remembered the wars of the past. They remembered human soldiers who refused to surrender. They remembered colonies where a few humans held against legions, and they remembered the ship that vanished, the ship now drifting. Before them, the black ship floated calm. Its engines glowed faint, its weapons remained hidden. It looked almost defenseless, almost asleep. But every alien captain felt the weight of it pressing against their hearts. Their claws trembled on, weapon triggers. Their spines rose with instinctive fear. Predators did not fear easily, but the memory of humans was carved into their blood. Inside the black ship, the crew watched in silence. Screens filled with images of enemy ships, thousands of them. A young officer whispered, "They outnumber us 100 to 1. The captain's voice cut through, steady and calm. "Numbers never broke humanity before, they will not break us now." The AI voice added, "Enemy fleet within strike range. Recommend activation of hidden arrays." The captain placed his hand on the console. "Not yet. Let them believe we are weak. Fear grows strongest when it meets silence." The predator fleets advanced, their weapons glowing like fire across the stars, missiles armed, cannons charged, energy surging through their cores. Every ship prepared to release destruction. But still the black ship did not move. It simply drifted, its shadow stretching longer, its silence louder, until the predators began to doubt. Was it alive? Or was it only a ghost? Doubt spread through their ranks like disease. In the council chamber far away, arguments turned into panic. Reports of the predator fleet's advance reached them. Some counselors begged for restraint. Others demanded more fleets to join, but none could look away from the screens, the shadow vessel against the wall of fire. The scene was burned into every mind, and every being whispered the same thought. If the black ship fights, the galaxy will never be the same. Inside the ship's cryobay, more pods opened. Dozens more humans stepped out, eyes filled with confusion and shock. The crew welcomed them, gave them water, gave them strength, and told them the truth. The war had ended decades ago, but their mission still lived. One soldier, scarred and weary, laughed bitterly. "Then nothing has changed. The galaxy still fears us." "Good. Let them." The captain moved to the command chair. He looked at his crew, each one waiting. His voice was low but sharp. "We are the last line. If we fall, Earth falls, remember that." The AI's voice grew louder. "Enemy fleet has locked weapons, impact in 90 seconds. The captain raised his hand slowly. "Prepare the ship, awaken the arrays, show them the strength they tried to bury." Panels shifted across the black ship's hull. Silent compartments opened, glowing with ancient power. Energy rippled across its spine like fire waking from sleep. The predators saw it, and for the first time their courage faltered. What they thought was a relic now moved with purpose. One captain screamed across comms, "It lives, it lives!" The admiral snarled, "Fire everything, burn it to dust." Thousands of ships released their fury. Missiles, plasma bolts, energy beams filled the void. The stars vanished under the storm, and in that storm, the black ship vanished into shadow. When the light cleared, silence returned. The enemy fleet searched their scopes, desperate. But the black ship was no longer where it had been. It had moved through the storm untouched, its weapons now awake, glowing with deadly light. The predators froze, and the galaxy watched in awe. The old enemies had stirred, but they had awakened something far greater than they feared. The first strike, the void burned with fire. Thousands of predator weapons had been unleashed. The storm of missiles, beams, and plasma should have turned the black ship into dust. But when the light faded, the shadow vessel still drifted, untouched. Alien. Crews stared at their screens in disbelief. Their claws tapped frantically, checking systems. Some screamed at their engineers. Why did it survive? How is this possible? But no answer came, for the truth was beyond their understanding. The black ship moved at last. Its engines pulsed with silent energy. Panels along its sides shifted, revealing arrays hidden for 72 years. No glowing cannons, no traditional weapons. Instead, strange lines of light crawled across its hull like veins of fire. The ship was waking. On the bridge, the captain stood firm, his crew watching him with steady eyes. He raised his hand. Target. They're command ships, only the ones who lead. Let the others see what waits for them. The AI obeyed. Silent beams lanced out from the black ship. No sound, no warning. Only sudden destruction. The first Predator flagship vanished in a single flash. No explosion, no debris. It simply ceased to exist. Erased from space. The alien fleet froze. Panic spread like wildfire. What weapon is this? What did humans build? One by one. More. Command ships vanished. Each shot was precise. Each strike left silence where once there had been steel. The Predators, so confident moments before, now trembled. Their formations broke, their lines scattered, and still the black ship fired, calm and unhurried. Inside the vessel, the crew stared in awe. Even they had never seen these weapons used. An officer whispered, "We never showed them our strongest weapons before." The captain's eyes narrowed, and now they see why. We waited until they thought us gone. Now the galaxy will remember us. Far away in the council chamber, chaos erupted. Every leader stared at the live feed. Some screamed for retreat. Others shouted for more fleets. But none could deny what they saw. One ship against thousands, and the thousands were losing. The speaker covered his face with trembling hands. This is what we feared. This is why humans were dangerous. Not because of numbers, not because of size, but because they never fought fair. His words carried through the chamber, but they were drowned by fear back in the battlefield. The Predator Admiral tried to hold his fleet. "Stand your ground, fight them, they cannot destroy us all." But his voice cracked, for even he had no faith left. He had seen entire wings vanish, his own allies erased in silence, and the black ship still moved forward, calm, unstoppable. One Predator captain broke formation, fleeing into hyperspace. Others followed. Soon the fleet that had once stretched across the rift began to collapse, ships colliding, commanders screaming. It was no longer a war. It was slaughter. The captain of the black ship watched, his face grim. He gave no smile, no cheer. "Enough," he said. The ship's weapons powered down. The remaining Predators scattered into the dark. Their courage shattered, their pride broken. The void was silent again. His crew looked at him confused. "Why stop? We could finish them all," one asked. The captain shook his head slowly. "No, destruction is not the goal. Fear is the goal. Let them flee. Let them tell the galaxy what they saw. Every word will be sharper than any blade." The AI confirmed. "Enemy fleet retreating. Probability of regrouping low. Mission continues." The captain placed his hand on the console. "Good. Then we move forward. Earth must be warned. The galaxy must be reminded." Across the stars, messages spread, faster than ships. Predators sent warnings through secret channels. Merchants whispered in hidden markets. Civilians told each other in fear. The humans are back. The black ship has returned, and no weapon can stop it. The galaxy trembled, but inside the black ship, the crew only felt one thing: the weight. of duty. For this was not victory. This was only the beginning, the truth revealed. The battlefield lay silent. Debris drifted through the void, fragments of ships that had once formed an unstoppable wall. The predator fleets were broken, their admirals fled, their courage shattered, and in the center of that silence, the black ship moved forward, calm as a shadow. Inside the ship, the crew sat at their stations, still shaken by what they had seen. They had awoken from sleep expecting war, but this was more than war. This was power beyond imagination. Weapons they had never trained with, technology hidden from them until now. It felt less like a ship and more like a living judgment. The captain stood at the bridge, his eyes fixed on the endless stars ahead. He knew silence would not be enough anymore. The galaxy had seen the black ship strike, but the galaxy still did not know the truth. Rumors would spread, fear would grow, but lies would also rise, and lies could destroy as easily as weapons. He turned to the AI. Open a channel, not just to the council, not just to the fleets. Open it to everyone, every colony, every station, every ship that still listens. The AI obeyed. A pulse spread through the void, carried on hidden frequencies older than the current council itself. Within minutes, screens lit up across the galaxy, from palaces to mining stations, from predator dens to fragile trade ships. Every being saw the same image. The captain of the black ship stood tall, his face pale from years of sleep but his eyes burning with fire. He did not shout, he did not rage. His voice was calm, steady, unshaken. I am Captain Elias of the Terran Defense Fleet. This ship is the last sentinel of Earth. You believed humanity was gone. You believed we were weak. You believed wrong. Gasps filled council halls. Markets froze. Even predator warriors fell silent. For 72 years they had told themselves humans were extinct, and now a human spoke directly to them, alive, unbroken. The captain continued, Earth is not destroyed. Earth is hidden. We chose silence because we were wounded, but silence is not surrender. We waited, we healed, and now we rise again. His crew stood behind him, proud and unyielding. Their faces told the story no words could. Humans lived and they were not afraid. Across the galaxy, reactions exploded. Some prey species cheered openly. They had lived under predator rule since humanity's fall. Now hope burned in their hearts. Again, predators raged, smashing consoles, their pride broken. But none could deny the truth they had just seen. In the council chamber, chaos erupted. Some leaders begged for peace talks. Others screamed for war before more Terran ships appeared, but fear had already won. Because if one black ship could erase a fleet, how many more waited in the dark? Back aboard the vessel, the crew watched the transmission spread. A young officer turned to the captain, her voice trembling. Will they believe us? Will they fear us? Or will they come for us again? The captain answered with calm certainty. They will do all of it, but it does not matter. We have shown the truth, and truth cannot be erased. The AI spoke again. Long-range scans detect increased communication traffic, probability of multiple fleets mobilizing, probability of council fracture high. The captain nodded slowly. Good. Let them fracture. Let them fight each other with fear, while we gather our strength. In hidden places across the galaxy, secret gates began to hum. Buried for decades, sealed by codes only humans knew, they flickered with light now, and through those gates came the first signals of awakening. More ships stirring, more fleets answering a silent call. The black ship was not alone. The captain's final words on the broadcast burned into memory, across the stars. You thought humanity was finished. You thought wrong. We are not extinct. We are not broken. We are returning, and the galaxy will remember who we are. The message ended. But the silence it left behind was louder than any explosion, for the galaxy now knew the truth. Humanity had not surrendered. Humanity had only waited. Humanity's return. The galaxy trembled under silence. Every world, every station, every ship replayed the human broadcast again and again. Some watched with hope, some with fear, some with rage, but none could deny the truth. Humanity lived. On the edge of Terran space, the void itself began to stir. Ancient gates that had slept for decades flickered with light. They had been forgotten by most, hidden by time and war. Now they pulsed with power, humming like giants, waking from slumber. The first gate opened. From its heart poured ships with the same black steel as the Sentinel. Not one, not two, but dozens, then hundreds. Each vessel carried the Terran crest, the old emblem thought lost with Earth. The galaxy watched in shock. The black ship had been only the beginning. In the council chamber, chaos turned into despair. Reports flooded in from every sector. Another gate has opened. Terran fleet sighted near Vega. Multiple black ships confirmed. The speaker's voice broke as he whispered, "This is not a return, this is an invasion." Predator admirals tried to rally. They sent orders, they called for unity. But their fleets hesitated, for they remembered the first strike. They remembered how one ship erased thousands. Now there were many. Even predators who thrived on war felt their courage slip. On prey worlds, people lit fires in the streets. They cheered, they wept. They shouted one name again and again, humans, humans, humans. For to them, the return of humanity was the return of hope. Hope that the galaxy would no longer be ruled by teeth and claws alone. Inside the first black ship, the captain stood with his crew. They watched as the gates opened, as Terran vessels poured into the stars. Some ships were old, battle-worn, their hulls scarred. Others gleamed with new designs, silent proof that Earth had been building in secret. The captain's voice carried, through the comms, "To all Terran fleets, you are not forgotten, you are not alone, today we rise together." His words reached every ship, every soldier. Cheers erupted inside the vessels. Fists struck against steel walls. Voices roared in, unison. Earth lives, humanity lives. The AI confirmed. Terran fleets synchronized, formation complete. Readiness for large-scale engagement at 98%. The captain nodded slowly. No more hiding, no more waiting. It is time the galaxy remembers our name. From the Predator strongholds came screams of denial. This cannot be. We destroyed them. We burned their worlds. But their words were weak. They had seen the truth with their own eyes. Humanity had survived. Humanity had rebuilt, and humanity had returned stronger than before. The galaxy was no longer the same. Old powers fractured, alliances broke, fear spread. But in that fear was something greater, a realization that the age of humans had begun again. The black ship led the charge. Its shadow stretched across the stars. Behind it came fleets from hidden gates, waves of Terran steel and fire, no longer silent, no longer waiting. Their engines roared, their weapons glowed, and their voices carried one message. Across the galaxy, humanity never surrendered. Humanity only waited. The council sat frozen as reports poured in. Some leaders collapsed in despair. Others whispered of peace, of treaties, of survival. But it was too late. The galaxy had mocked humanity, had tried to erase humanity. Now it would face the truth of humanity's return. On every screen, in every system, the same image burned. The black ship at the front, Terran fleets rising behind it. A shadow of vengeance, a light of hope. For some, it was a nightmare. For others it was salvation, but for all it was the future. The era of silence was over. The era of humanity had begun.